We care. We sell homes. Martino Picariello. What's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. How are you?
Good, good. And just so you guys know, that is Martino's motto, slogan, because he does care. I do know Martino very well.
Yeah.
And after this, you guys are going to know a lot about Mr. Martino and everything he does.
That's the goal. Thanks for having me, Alex.
Of course, man. So where are you living right now? Where are you at?
I'm currently located in Point Breeze. Yeah,
Point Breeze.
South Philadelphia.
How do you like Point Breeze?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah?
Has its pros. Definitely has its cons, but overall it definitely fits what I'm looking to do in my mid-20s right now.
Yeah.
Save as much I can on the monthly payments, live in a decent neighborhood, and then hopefully upgrade to the neighborhood that I'm looking to be in.
Okay. Do you have an idea of that yet, or?
Think so. I think the goal is for East Passyunk.
Okay.
Yeah, just, getting into there when we were looking, I was looking with my girlfriend. Prices were just not where they needed to be. And
Staying in South Philly, man. Staying in the South Philly bubble.
exactly. So we're just right over the Broad Street line, and it's not too far to get over there. So eventually one day to be there would be the goal, though. Definitely.
Dude, it's like two different Phillies because I live in Fishtown, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I really never get down to South Philly.
Really?
And I feel like people who are in South Philly stay in South Philly, and people who are on the other side of Philly, like North Philly, or never leave North Philly.
That's very fair.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah, I feel the same way sometimes because it's interesting. It's like they have so many good things in North Philly, especially Northern Liberty's Fishtown.
Mhm.
And then we have so many good things in South Philly, the Italian Market, Bella Vista, Rittenhouse Square, Washington Square West. Yeah, we have a few more cooler things than you guys.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
I
I
it's
am
tight.
Italian roots. So.
South Philly, North Philly, maybe we can gauge it in the chat, which has the better amenities and things to go to.
Where's the better food?
South Philly all the time, every single time.
How many restaurants in Fishtown are like the number one or like, and for that top seed?
I always feel like it's not a franchise, but maybe someone from New York who came down and like opened something up, Steven Starr. But South Philly, it's like, this grandma's been here since she landed on the boats.
I can't even argue with that.
You know what I mean? And she's been literally in the kitchen for 45, 65 years, doing the same thing with the meatballs and the ravioli. So I'm a little biased with South Philly food just because of the original hands that are still making it today, which is crazy.
I'm going to shut them out though, man.
Mm.
My opinion, best of Italian food in Philadelphia,
Mm.
Murph's on Girard.
Murph's. It's interesting, right? Italian food from an Irish bar. You never really, you know what I mean? You never really think of things like that, but that's Fishtown in a nutshell right there. You know? It just flips things on its head and makes it better than expected.
Yeah, it's the thing. That's why Philadelphia is so unique and why so many people are drawn to the city.
Yeah.
Is like you walk in, it's a dive bar, right? You're like, oh, someone told me they have really good Italian food here.
Yeah.
What, am I in the wrong Murph's?
You question it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely something Philly's known for. I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hole in the walls, we call them, I guess.
So tell me about your background. Right? So you grew up playing hockey, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tell me about that.
So there's a difference between playing hockey and being a hockey player. I always prided myself on being a hockey player. The long travels, the long hair, the loose teeth, and just the whole overall style of a hockey player. But yeah, I grew up in that and started playing when I was 1, man. 1 years old. Before I could even walk, I was on skates.
What do you like? So you started skating at 1?
Actually, at the Rockefeller Center was my first ever time on ice. Right underneath the Christmas tree. They just lit up actually last night if you saw the special.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I was on Rockefeller's ice arena and that was my first time skating. So it was like ever since I could remember, I was on the ice. So it's been a huge part of my life.
You still get on there at all?
I coach now. Yeah, so I'm on the other side of it. I'm on the other side of it now. So we were so basically I grew up playing. I went to college, 4 years of college. We were great. It was a new program. We took the team from bottom 10 to we were top 10 our last 2 years. So I was like, that was my focus, is to build a culture in that organization. Whether or not I reap the rewards of it, the future generations coming into the program were really my focus there. So I always had that like kind of, if it's not me, I'm going to pass it forward kind of mentality.
Yeah.
Coaching fit that perfect. So I got right into coaching. Got a call from one of my old coaches right when I graduated, and he offered me a 14U team, which is like 14, 13-year-olds just getting into high school. Mm-hmm. It's a huge part in their lives. And you know me, I'm a big mental guy.
Yeah.
I like to help people, outside of the rink or outside of real estate. And I just want to see how they are as a person. So working with kids in transitions like that, when they're trying to figure out who they are and obviously figure out how good they are and where they stack up against players, it's like being able to influence them and have a positive impact, in my opinion, based on what they've told me at the end of the year and throughout the year. it felt so fulfilling. And
Mhm.
it's like one of those things I don't see myself ever getting out of. And I'm looking forward to when I have a kid now and I can pass that knowledge on. And let's slow down though. I mean, no kids yet, but
Yeah.
like it's just such an exciting game, and it teaches you so many lessons, just like any other sport does. So
Right.
I love being a part of it.
Yeah, hockey is one of those things. It's super unique because like you have people who start so young,
Hmm.
and they by the time they get to like 7th, 8th grade, they're already starting to kind of get looked at, right? By
100%.
like professional teams.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
like the NFL, right? It's kind of like more like the NBA where you can get recruited pretty much 18 years old.
Yeah. And imagine being like, 14, 15, 16, and you're seeing other kids getting committed. And you're like, wow, I can't even make a AAA team.
Yeah.
It's really discouraging sometimes when you peek over your shoulder and see other people's successes. So one of the biggest things I emphasized to my kids was, comparison's the thief of all joy.
Mhm.
Everyone is different in their own ways, and everyone's going to develop at their own timelines. And I think that helped me still get to college, still get a good scholarship. And I hope it helps them in the future too, because it's just like anything. You got to stay in your lane, focus on the process. Don't look at the results yet. They're just going to come if you stay focused on the process. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. But kids are getting recruited at a young age. So it's like, I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy. I guess there's no older kids that are good. So they're going after the younger kids in hopes that they blossom. But
I mean, I feel like the NHL is like one of those leagues too, where guys are in that from age 18 to like age 38, like
Mhm.
20 years in the NHL, and they're just powerhouses all the way through till they retire.
Yeah. I think that's all a mindset. And
Yeah.
talk about process.
Mhm.
Those guys can't keep their bodies at that level for that long without just having that habit of doing it every day and that process. So it's incredible. And I don't know any other sport that has people that are 40 years old still killing it, besides Tom Brady, but he's a freak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So definitely a unique sport.
You said you got a scholarship. Where'd you go to college?
Stevenson University. It's a little small private school
Okay.
right outside of Baltimore. So we were, going to Baltimore every other night, partying, drinking, seeing the bar scene there. And then we had a little small private school, so we had the house party feel, and we got really close with our classmates. So I love my college experience, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Where'd you grow up?
So I grew up in South Philly, South Jersey area. Was born in South Philly, went to South Jersey for the schooling systems. My mom was avid on that, and then I came back when I was 15 and went to a Catholic school here in the city of Philly.
So you were born in South Philly, went to Jersey,
Mhm.
and then came back during high school years.
Mhm. Yeah.
Usually it's not. It's usually like the other way around. Like you maybe born in South Philly, and then people move to the suburbs, go through school, and
Yeah.
then after high school, college, they'll move back on their own back
Exactly.
into the city. So you kind of had a
Yeah.
different kind of.
No, definitely. I wouldn't trade it. Growing up in the suburbs was awesome, honestly. My block in particular, I met so many good people, and I still hang out with almost all those people today. And it's crazy to think, it's the same in the city though, right? You have those kids on your block, and you just don't break ties easily.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
good hockey players too. That because you have that big arena, right, or the Flyer skate zone in Voorhees, right?
Yeah, it attracts so many people who love the Flyers, and then their kids get into it, and it's creating a lot of really good products right now, prodigies that are coming out. Johnny Gaudreau, have you heard of that name?
No.
He's a good South Jersey kid, and his friend group, a lot of the Robinson brothers. Yeah, just good people, and they obviously made it very far, very successful. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I played hockey for a few years. Like I started.
Get out.
Yeah, actually. So I started probably in like 6th grade, played like 6th, 7th grade.
Mhm.
And then 8th grade came around. I wanted to start playing football because I knew I wanted to play in high school.
Mhm.
Because I was like,
What position?
in
Like that's
hockey?
all in football.
Oh, in football. So
Yeah.
it changed. I was a little heavier.
Mhm.
So my 8th grade freshman year, I was a lineman, offensive line, D line. And then my sophomore, I dropped like 50 pounds. And I was just
Wow.
like in the gym, like lifting, like
Wow.
all that like baby chub was gone. So I'm like, all right, well, I want to run the ball now and you try to do this. So I was still like, we've had a very old school type of offense.
Mhm.
So I played fullback
Mm.
in
Oh yeah.
high school. So I did fullback. And then actually my senior year, our coach moved me back to D line. So it was fullback and D line.
And you're 50 pounds less.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, probably at that point, I was like, so my freshman year, I was actually came around a full circle. Freshman year, I was probably 210,
Mhm.
but I did not have the muscle mass.
Right.
Then going into my sophomore year, I was probably like 160s.
Mhm.
Probably got up to 170s by the end of that year.
Wow.
And then by my senior year, I was probably back to 210. I'm like,
You were fluctuating.
Yeah, but 210,
Yeah.
like I was like benching like high threes,
Like a
like in high
lean,
school.
mean 210 versus
Yeah, I
like.
wasn't the leanest guy in the room, but
Right.
I was pretty, I looked pretty strong.
Yeah. Right.
Um,
Yeah.
now I'm like lighter than I was in high school. I'm like 193
Wow.
now. So
Yeah. Are you still doing the same workout regimen from high school? Has it switched up since then?
I try to like go maybe a little lighter. I was going really heavy for a couple years actually. So my freshman year of college, my freshman sophomore year of college, I was starting to actually get into powerlifting.
Mm.
I was going to this gym, Retro Fitness, and there was this guy there who would talk to you around the same age. He was doing powerlifting, and he would go on the bench. He'd be on the bench for an hour, and he'd be going down doing the pause reps on the bench. So when you're in powerlifting, you be very controlled. You go up, you go down, you pause for 2 seconds,
Right.
and then they call up. And I was watching, like, so what do you do? He's like, oh, I'm doing powerlifting. He's like, have you ever tried it? I'm like, no. And I always just thought, like, as much weight, as many reps, just pump it
Right,
out, right?
right.
You want to trying to build
That is
muscle.
that's a football mindset. Like that's what they instill in you at a young age. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So I'm at this gym, right? And I'm like, all right, let me try it.
Yeah.
So I get on, I try it. I can do 225 for a pause rep, 265. And then like after a month, 2 months of doing it, I'm like pause repping like over 315 with ease. I'm like,
Wow.
all right, I'm gonna go sign up for a competition. Did the competition.
Get out.
RPS league. I had the Pennsylvania state record at one point at 19.
Wow.
And then
Get out.
then I had the national record at 19 years old at one point.
Get out.
Yeah.
So you're like
RPS.
I don't know. Do you have like
It was like three. I have a couple. I mean, it was like
a couple trophies,
I've only-
medals, honors?
there's only 2 competitions I did.
Yeah.
And I really just only want to do it for like beating the bench record.
Yeah.
And I think it was like when I was like 19, it's like maybe 365 for a pause rep.
Oh, I'm not getting on your bad side.
It was like I was under
Yeah.
198 weight class,
That's
and it was 365.
almost double your weight. Or I guess that is that almost double your weight?
Almost, yeah. I mean, not too far
Pretty
off.
close. Pretty close.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not getting on your bad side. Just that's actually crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
So why'd you get into mortgages, man?
Why did I get into mortgages?
You could have been playing in the NFL or something.
No. I mean, I was somewhat athletic, but
Yeah.
not at that caliber.
Well, what got you into the loans?
so-
into that side of it.
Yeah, actually. So, all right, what got me into loans is when I was looking for a job my senior year of college,
Mm.
I was a marketing major, and I've always been in the marketing. I mean, I'm doing a podcast now, and
Right.
I have a big
Yeah.
marketing emphasis in my business. So it's always been like a big kind of passion for me.
Right.
So I'm looking at marketing jobs. I did a few interviews. I did an interview with like Univest and a few like bigger like companies around like the Philadelphia area for a marketing position. It was just it's so competitive, especially marketing.
Yeah.
Especially you don't have the right internship at a company. It's hard to transition from that. So
Right.
I'm just looking around, and I've always been interested in real estate.
Mm.
I came from a real estate background,
Yeah.
and my parents are in real estate.
I was gonna say, I think both your parents, you were telling me, were in the business. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So I've always kind of known about it, and I've always liked sales. I've always liked business as well.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, well, what's in real estate? I was just going on LinkedIn, people who I knew, and I saw someone who I went to college with was at Toll Brothers, and they were a loan officer.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, that's an interesting position and company. I'm going to look that up. Went on Toll Brothers website, went to careers, saw junior loan officer open. I'm like, here we go.
Yeah.
Apply. I put him, I call him, hey, can I use you as a reference? He's like, yeah. He told me about the position. We had a great call.
Wow.
Applied. Had 2 interviews, one with the Northeast area, one with the South area.
Mhm.
Got a position with the South area. So I was on Team Florida. So I was just working a ton of communities in Florida for Toll Brothers.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and that was June 2019 I started, so a month after I graduated. So I've been in the business now for about 4.5 years.
Wow.
And then been on my own for probably about like since 2022 or so.
Jeez.
So just building my own
Right.
business.
Right. How was that experience working for the Toll Brothers?
It was cool, man. It was like it was a regular corporate job, like
yeah,
how
it's
you
a
would
huge
expect.
name. It's probably the biggest name in real estate, I'd say. Like in terms of development.
Yeah, Toll Brothers is definitely one of the huge ones. Toll
Yeah.
Brothers, Ryan,
Mhm.
DR Horton, those are
Yeah.
like the big players in that game.
Yeah.
It was cool, man. There's definitely like a sense of pride. Like, oh, I work for Toll Brothers. I graduated. I work for Fortune 500 company. It's just cool.
That'd be amazing.
Like
Yeah.
someone who just barely skated by in college and did everything they could
Yeah.
to pass. I mean,
Yeah,
I was
it's
not the
true.
most studious guy. So like I'm
Right.
like out of school. I have a good job. I'm learning a ton. I'm super passionate and I'm very motivated. And
That's
I reached
key.
I reached a point where I was like, you know what? I can do this. not everyone can just jump out and just like, I can be on my own and do this thing. It takes like a certain amount of confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
I'm saying, hey, I think at the time when I went on my own, I was like 25. I'm like, I'm 25. I can do this. Like, if I screw up now, it's all right. I'll recover. I can always get another job.
Right. But you had that certainty and that confidence, which a lot of people don't even know where that comes from. But in my experience, it comes from doing the same thing, the right thing, over and over again. And when you do that for so long, you almost have to go on your own. And if you don't, it's like a disservice to yourself, right? Because you can't see your max potential without taking that leap of faith, which, it's hard to leave a company like that and to really take that leap. So that takes a lot, man. That's a pretty incredible start to your personal solo career, honestly, to kind of leave that big company and, just like take that leap. How's it been since?
It's been great. Actually, so I left. I went to a smaller startup, which was good. I learned a lot there. Yeah. And then I got recruited to go to a bigger retail lender, which I was there for a little bit. I learned a lot. Yeah. So it's been great. It's like you have the highs, you have the lows of it, and you have just the figuring it out because you're running your own business. You have to keep track of the leads. You have to keep track of everyone, everything, where they came from, source everything, and it takes a high skill set that you didn't know you have to have. Yeah. So I could talk to you and be like, okay, like, we have good rapport, we have good communication, but that only gets you so far, especially when you're working with maybe like a new referral partner or someone who you're working with for the first time. It's like, I like Alex. He's a great dude, but he's not organized. He doesn't communicate with the client. All these issues. Like, I really like him. I'm friends with him, but not someone I want to work with. Yeah. So how can you have? I call them the three layers of success. I call it obviously rapport. You have to have trust, but you have to have your systems as well. And the systems are the key to everything, because once you have your systems in place, and systems aren't like, oh, you have all these different things that happen on a computer. It's like you call this client at this time, this day of the week, and you have everything time blocked and you're organized and you keep track of everything on an Excel spreadsheet. Nothing complicated, nothing that takes a rocket scientist to figure out. Right. All basic business stuff that you need to learn in order to be successful. Right.
And it's just like any process. If you just stay with that process, you might not see the results right away, but you're just going to keep chugging away and the results are going to come eventually, just because you're doing such a good, consistent job at the follow-ups, the lead generation. That's the biggest thing, I think, for anyone in real estate too, is just like lead generation. How are you getting your leads? And if you don't have leads coming in, then you don't have a business. So that's like your main focus, main priority, I think. And then once you have those leads, the systems, the processes, they'll help you save so much time and their time too. Yeah. Which, when you get those set up, it's a huge part of your business.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. How'd you get started on real estate?
It's a good question. I got started. My dad owned a bunch of properties growing up. He had about 12 properties. Wow. He owned a pizza shop, and down that block, it was a bunch of really affordable houses, $25,000, $30,000. This is back in 80, 89, in that range. And he started buying these properties up cash. And I asked him when I got to a certain age, I think I was 13, 14, I was like, I've been playing hockey for a long time. If anyone knows hockey, it's not a cheap sport to play. Yeah. We've been living in the suburbs. And I was like, Dad, you make all this money doing pizza? Is this all you do? He's like, nah, I own a bunch of real estate. And ever since I heard that, I was like 12 or 13. It just like stuck with me. And as I went into college, I had that lens on, I want to do business with a track in real estate. I don't want to just learn all general business, but how does it relate to wealth building through real estate? So I got my minor in real estate, my major in business. And throughout college, I actually was in leasing because I was just trying to learn the ins and outs of how rentals work, because that's a huge part of the business that no one really likes to learn about. It's all like, where's the cap rate? How big's the building? Sure. It's like, who are the tenants? Sure. How do I get these tenants? How do I make sure they're comfortable? And how do I make sure they want to take the space as soon as possible to limit vacancies, to increase cash flow? There's so many little things. And I thought the leasing throughout my college years set me up so well when I got into sales, because I could confidently tell people, like, this is not going to rent for what you're thinking it is, or it is, and it's a home run deal. And having that certainty, just like you had certainty when you're making that switch, it just helps you really deliver to your clients and make them feel more confident in the sale. So that's kind of how I slowly started. Yeah. Dad planted the seed, college kind of grew it. And then, by the time I got out of it, I was so eager. I took my license while I was in college and just jumped right into it the next year.
That probably made it easier too, because you were already like in study mode.
It was amazing. I couldn't have partnered it any better. Imagine just not doing anything and just picking up the real estate course versus like
Yeah.
you're in class and you're not paying attention anyway. Might as well do real estate courses if it's like an art class or something.
Yeah.
So I tried to just leverage my time and get it done quick because I know that the real experience and the real learning comes from being in it. So
Yeah.
just want to get the piece of paper and then go. That was it. Yeah.
So you, as soon as you graduated, you started your real estate sale career.
Took 1 month just to relax in July, and I was right into it in August. Yeah.
So where did you start, and where are you at now with as in terms of company and teams and stuff?
I bounced around a little bit. It's a good question.
Mhm.
I started off with this all online brokerage called EXP Realty. Some people may have heard of it. It wasn't for me. I was there for 2 weeks, and I ended up I was out. No one really reached out to me when I joined, like they said they would. And I think if you're a new agent watching this, it can happen so often where you're so excited to get in the business, you just jump at the first opportunity. And I had to learn that the hard way, when really it's like really a patient game. You need to really know your worth and where you want to go and think as big as possible before even starting, because you want to have a huge model in place. That way you don't have like little like stunted growths along the way.
Yeah.
If you think small, I'll do 5 or 6 homes. You're probably going to sell 5 or 6 homes year 3. But if you think I want to sell 40 homes my first year, you'll probably sell 40 homes by year 3 because you're already planning for those bigger models and you're working towards them. So bounced around from there I went to the complete opposite. I went to a mom and pop shop in Rittenhouse Square. I love Rittenhouse. Love the vibe around there. It's on 18th and Pine. And the broker of record there, we didn't hit it off, to be honest with you. At first, I was obsessed. I was like, this person's so knowledgeable. They're going to help me. They had no time for me. They didn't help me, unfortunately. And fortunately, though, I met good people while I was there from other teams and other companies, and I'm sure they had it in their mind to recruit me. And at the time, I was so naive that I was like, they like me and they're my friends, so whatever. So I go play around in golf with actually my 2 friends in the business, and they were like, dude, if you're not getting these leads, if you're not getting this kind of exposure, these script practices, this kind of teaching in this part of your career, you really are wasting time. And there's not much time to waste in this business. Time is money. So I immediately switched over. I didn't even hesitate. And I told Nan, I don't want to say her name, my old broker, we'll call her Leslie. And I told her immediately. She was very upset with me. And she threw a non-compete clause in my ICA, which is like, you can't compete against me in my same division. And she basically took all of Center City. So I couldn't hang my license in Center City for 6 months. So I had to go to the main line, KW main line, hang my license there. And I joined a team under, one of the KW teams. And I was loving it there. My business took off immediately. I finally learned how to do script practices. I finally learned how to use a database. I finally learned how to show properties effectively, especially to investors, because I was just doing leasing for a while. Open a door, answer questions, I'll send you an application. But when it comes to sales, there's so many things you have to learn and so many things you have to bring up when you're walking through. And I finally learned how to do all that. So business took off. And then that business, it was the Hunters real estate team with KW Philly.
Yeah.
And we merged with the Jim Roche real estate team under KW Philly. They had about 20 agents. We had about 8, and we merged. And now we're one big mega team.
Wow.
We've taken a bunch of market share in 2023. This was at the start of 2023 we merged. Taken a bunch of market share since. I think about 2% increase in market share in these times, which is it's fantastic. A lot of us are really hanging our hats on that, but still a lot more work to do, obviously. So we're rolling out a lot of new stuff, and it's really exciting. So I feel like I finally found my groove here.
Yeah.
After all the nonsense, and it's just it's a really relaxing feeling. So we were talking about the new brokerage.
Yeah. So
it's a lot of fun. I love that group. It's a great group of guys and girls, and great people.
So I know you guys are killing it. You just took up more market share. Yeah. You're crushing it business-wise. Come on, you guys have to have a lot of fun. Like, tell me about some of the fun you guys have. What do you guys do?
Oh, man. This is one of the, I think, most fun teams in the city. People from other teams come to hang out with our team, and it's a blast. But
is that like who are you? Who do you know here type thing? Like you're just messing with them?
Sometimes. Yeah. But, they've been around so long now that, and also we're such an open group. But
it's like, come on, join the team.
We'll mess with some people. Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, it's so tempting. I can't imagine from an outsider perspective, because even before I merged with the team, I was like, I'd love to be part of the Jim Roche real estate team. They look like they have such a great culture. They have great listings. They have great products. They have great knowledge and resources for their clients.
Yeah.
So honestly, from an outsider perspective, I've been there and I've wanted to join too. So now that I'm part of it, when you see someone who's interested, you mess with them a little bit, but you're like, yeah.
Come on, tell us some of the insider stuff. Come on, we have to know, man. The audience wants to know, what does the Gym Roche team get into?
We're a group that likes to have fun. And honestly, every quarter there's something that has to do with education and entertainment. We mix the two very well. Like for spring break, we did a spring summit where we had our entire team go down to Atlantic City in the showboat. He hired amazing speakers to come in from the Growth Dojo, Devin Denofa. Then the list goes on. We had so many great speakers come out, give us a business plan, and teach us and motivate us towards the right goals. The whole group, 28 agents, 10 transaction coordinators and marketing assistants, Jim, our president, our CEO, all that stuff. And we all get a ton of knowledge for 8 hours straight. We're in this room. And then for the next 8 hours, we go right out to the bar. We logged the entire, there's a little, it's like a 5-iron golf. It's almost like Top Golf, but with simulators instead.
Okay.
We rented the entire room out, got the entire bar rented out, and we all just played golf, drank, ate food for about the next 8 hours after that. All down in Atlantic City in springtime when no one's down there.
That's awesome.
Some of us maybe partook in blackjack, roulette. Some of us might have slipped off to the clubs after. I mean, that was just spring break for us. Now we have 4th of July. We go to the beach. Actually, tomorrow, Friday, we have our Christmas party really early, but I wouldn't want to have it any other way. Things get hectic around the 15th to the 25th. So he's like, let's have our Christmas party now so we can all definitely be there.
Yeah.
And Jim does a great job of including everybody. There's not one person who's rarely not there unless there's an emergency going on.
Yeah.
People want to be there. We all like each other's company, and we're all very like-minded individuals, which makes it so much fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm expecting an invite.
No, expect one. Definitely expect one soon. Definitely.
Yeah. It sounds like you guys had a lot of fun.
Yeah. How's your culture over at your company? Have you guys throwing any kind of...
Well, we have a holiday party coming up on the 15th, so I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a great time.
I got the invite on that too.
You're always invited, man.
All right. Good trade.
Yeah. But it's great. I mean, I love the culture, especially at PMC. Everyone is driven. Just a great cohesive group. Like everyone's just willing to work together. Any problem, anything you might need help with, solved. Just one phone call, one text, one email away.
You were saying, were they your coworkers more like 50 plus, or are they like kind of your range? Like what's like the average loan officer in that company look like?
It ranges. I'm probably the youngest in the group.
Yeah.
Just like I feel like even
I'm the youngest in my office too.
You're what, 26?
26.
Yeah, so I'm 27.
Yeah.
So I feel like all of us like under 30 people are like babies in the real estate game.
Yeah. It's funny how people look at you and talk to you when they just know you're under 30, but
that's why I keep the beard on, man. I'm like, I could be 35 for all that.
Exactly.
For all you know.
Honestly, I did that too. I mean, it helps more than you think, honestly. Just like a simple 2 versus a 1 on the razor can make you seem 2 or 3 years older. And it's like,
no, it's so true.
It helps you with negotiations, the respect level. I mean, it's all kind of mental at the end of the day, but perception is reality, right? You want to be perceived as someone who is mature. You want to be perceived as someone who's a professional and an expert in their field. So what a beard does that. That's maybe not, what does it for everyone, but it does it for guys like us, which is great.
Yeah. And I do think that, how you present yourself and how you in communication is also a big key component, because I've met a lot of people with beards who, when they start talking, maybe they're like, does this guy really know what he's talking about?
Exactly. That's why asking the right questions is always the key in any conversation.
Yeah.
Questions control the conversation, just like this podcast right now. The next question we ask is going to dictate the next 5 minutes of it. So when you're sitting down with someone, whether you think they know it all or you don't think they know it all, ask the same questions and you're going to get so many different answers. And you can just put them in that compartment of where you think they are.
Yeah.
Beginner, novice, whatever you want to do, up to an expert. And from there, you can prioritize certain people over the others. All right, this guy's an expert. I better get back to him because when we spoke and he answered all my questions effectively, I felt that from him. And then that one person who was like, yeah, just send me anything. I just have $100,000. I want to flip a property.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you're not on my priority list.
Sure.
The people who are specific and actually have goals in mind, I will spend endless hours, even if it results in $0 for me, because that's fulfilling to me. That's what I'm chasing. Like, that's my ideal client. So I want to serve them to the best ability, and I want to have more clients come from that person potentially and get referrals, et cetera. So I want obviously my level of service to be really good for those people.
Sure.
Yeah.
I feel like my biggest pet peeve in the mortgage industry, especially with other loan officers, all loan officers are complaining about the low level deals. And low level deals are like, I would say like maybe under 200. And like,
Fair.
my whole business plan is I treat everyone the same. It could be a $1 million client or it could be a $100,000 client who barely qualifies. You treat everyone the same and you will be rewarded for that. And what I mean rewarded is you might have a client that's really tough to get approved, really tough to get through underwriting,
Right.
whole ton of issues come out and it's like, $100,000 loan.
Right.
And you're like, all right,
It's
well,
funny how it
all that
typically
work-
happens with those lower price points too. Like
Sure.
$1 million buyers don't have any issues, I feel like. And then
Right. I mean,
it's just funny how that works.
Yeah. And it's like, all right, well, how am I going to be rewarded in the universe for this?
Right.
And I don't even think about that. Because my job is like, I'm just going to help everyone, even if it's a smaller one, whatever. It's all part of the business. And I just keep rolling. I keep pushing through.
Yeah.
And then you'll have those $500,000 loans that are perfect, easy, go through right up. And I'm like, that makes up the difference in those smaller ones. And that's part of the reason why you do this business is to really want to help people. And I always take a consultative approach. And I'm consulting people. I'm really understanding their goals, what they want to achieve with this purchase. And
I like what you said there, though. It's a consultant business.
yes.
So many times agents are like, I'm going to go on this listing presentation.
Yep.
Like, what are you presenting? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why are you, do you know what they need? Do you know what the client needs? When they need it? Why they're in need to sell? That's your job. You're consulting them, not like, here's my marketing. It's like,
Yeah.
you don't even know why I'm selling this right now, So it's like, I totally like what you said there with the consultative approach
Yeah.
versus that presentation approach. Just feels fake.
But it's different too, especially like when I'm talking to a client, I'm taking a consultative approach. But like I could be talking to someone I want to work with. And it's like, I'm not going to consult someone on how to do their business or anything like that or what I want to learn their goals and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like there's you have to read the room for every different situation. And speaking of going and meeting with referral partners, especially you and stuff, I feel like that's like so similar to dating.
Yeah. It's the same. Like that was one of the main things that one of my mentors told me was like, treat clients like they're girls at a bar. Swear.
Yeah.
He's like, go up to them and don't be like, hey, can I have your number and you want to meet up? Like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Just you could be out like at a network anywhere and be like a builder.
Yeah.
And that you want to get those listings on the new construction. You're like, I'm going to go up and flirt with this builder.
Give him my business card. Right. Yeah, exactly. If you flirt with him, you'll have way more success than if you try to get his number.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that difference between the two. Like there's like that flirt, you know, like, hey, how you doing? You know, what are you doing here? Oh yeah. Same as me. You want to meet people? Cool. And then there's like that, I'd really like to work with you. Here's my card. Call me anytime kind of thing. So it's just like knowing your worth obviously helps with that. When you're new to the business, you don't really know. But yeah, I think for new agents watching, it's huge. Like, make it more of like a first date feel,
Yeah, and that resonates so much because like, when I became single again, during that time I was going on like referral partner meetings and networking and and I'm like going on dates with people. I'm like, God, this feels like how it is when I go with like a referral partner or something like, and then I guess maybe those first few dates, I'm just like, I feel like I'm on a business meeting. Like I need to like switch this up or something.
Sometimes that's okay. I don't think it's a bad thing to be in like a business kind of like date, or at least have that mindset because it helps you ask those right questions too. Just like when you're pre-qualifying a buyer, pre-qualifying a lender partner, right? Like you just ask the right questions, they'll control the conversation. So we've had good training being in real estate because now women are, not all women, but most women that we go out with, it's like an easy conversation.
Sure.
But that, I think we have to give credit to our real estate careers and putting us through so many situations where we're like in that same situation and we're trying to read somebody, get their motivation and see where they're at. So maybe there's like, if there is a relationship that can be had, great. If not, on to the next one. You know?
Yeah. And I think that's a big part. You're in a relationship, right?
Yes. Yeah. Almost 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's a big too when you're talking about, dating potential partners. Like, I'm in real estate. I'm going to be getting phone calls at 9 p.m. I'm going to be on my phone. There's going to be times where we're on vacation and I'm going to have to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
And I think that's also, see, like, some partners, some people who are dating others don't want to deal with that. That's like kind of the thing. You have to be like, hey, like, I'm in business. Like, this is what we do. This is how we conduct our business.
Right.
So it's hard to disconnect 100% of the time. And I think that's super tough.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. This was recently. I was like, it was like actually, it was the Friday after Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
I worked a little in the morning, got some stuff done. And then it was pretty nice. And I went to go play a round of golf with my dad.
Nice.
And, I'm like, I'm going to put my phone in my bag. I'm not going to put on my ring or anything.
Mm.
No one is going to bother me for these 3 hours, 4 hours while I play this round of golf. And I'm telling you, like, just that time off my phone, I felt so good and so refreshed.
It's crazy. Like when you unplug like that, it's almost enlightening.
Yeah.
It's like, this is what life's like, It's like an epiphany. You're like, wow, my phone is like a drag on my life.
Yeah.
Pros and cons, right?
Yeah.
But
that's how you get paid, picking up the phone, though.
Right. So it's like, it's hard to disconnect from it. But if you have that, I don't know, it's like it's just a feeling. I can't even put a word to it. But just that feeling that you need to disconnect, your health, your mental health, it always takes priority over business every time. Because this doesn't work, then no business works.
I agree.
So it's a fine line. And if that client can wait 3 or 4 hours, they're probably a good client.
Sure.
If they can't wait for you, they're probably, no offense, an asshole. No offense. If you can't wait 3 hours for me to get back to you, you're probably an asshole.
People who want to work with you and are committed to working with you, will wait, and they're not just going to jump boat if you don't answer every phone call instantly.
Exactly.
Especially after like a holiday. It's like, come on.
Exactly. And I think if they respect your time, you're going to respect them a lot more. If they have no respect for your time, it's hard to respect someone like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
So how did you meet your girlfriend?
I was at McGillen's.
McGillen's. Shout out McGillen's.
Yeah, McGillen's has been making marriages since 1860. Yeah.
Wait, there's a loan officer I used to work with at Toll Brothers that met his wife at McGillen's. That's hilarious.
It's the truth. We actually, my best friend is a filmmaker, and he is doing a documentary on McGillen's right now. And he's going through all their history.
Wow.
And they are the #1 bar in the city for marriages. Like, people come back all the time and it's like, I met my wife here, met my lover here, met my husband, whatever. All the time to the ownership.
Wow.
It's the #1 bar in Philly.
So if you are looking to find your life partner,
if you're looking to find love, McGillen's, what is it? 13th and Drury, 13th and Chestnut. Yeah, right behind Tradesman's on that little small side street. Just watch out.
McGillen's, if you want to be the official bar of Progress with Pagano, feel free to DM me, reach out. We will shout you out.
I'll have my buddy reach out to them. Don't worry.
Okay.
Well, yeah. I'm like, hey, Eric, just let me know if you can get these guys through.
Wow, no way. So you guys met at McGillen's.
Met at McGillen's. It's funny.
What was it, like winter? Was it, what time of year was it?
I think we're rolling right into like May time, early May.
So people are going out. They're
hot boy summer. That was my mindset, right? And staying with my girlfriends. I hope she's watching, but she was just out of a relationship month. I was just out of a relationship, a 4-year relationship for 1 month.
Wow.
I was not thinking about a relationship whatsoever.
Sure.
It was like the last thing I wanted. My goal was progress. Like get my business to a point where I can almost coast and then find somebody, right?
Yeah.
So what I did though, and I don't know why I did this looking back, if I didn't want to be in a relationship, but I had a good experience with my ex, but I was like, I want to find someone who's going to fit my needs. And when they come along, I'm going to be ready for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote a list out of everything I wanted in my future wife. Everything. 6 things, maybe 7 things that I needed.
Wow.
Smart, funny, laughs at my jokes, even the bad ones.
Yeah.
A little thick, I don't like the twigs. So I was like, you know what? And then I looked at that list and I said, who do I have to be to attract this type of woman? And once I did that, I feel like my whole persona, my whole identity shifted into the person I wanted to be, not who I was. So that breakup was one of the best things that ever happened to me because it made me realize what I really did want and who I really am and who I want to be. Because sometimes who you are right now is not who you're always going to be.
Sure, I agree with that, 100%.
It's never black and white. And I think if people tell themselves a story of who they are, they're going to believe it. So pick the story you want to tell yourself. Are you funny, charismatic, outgoing? Are you scared, shy, introverted? You tell yourself that. It's not like someone defined you before you were born and that's it. You have the ability to make a change as long as you are aware of it. And if you're uncomfortable with your certain circumstances, people don't change because they don't want to.
Right.
If you want to actually change, you'll change. I promise you. And I was in that point in my life, 4-year relationship. I need it, right? I need to kind of figure it out. And I did. And
were you thinking like you were going to marry that person at the time.
For sure.
Yeah.
We had a dog together. Like
Wow.
I was head over heels. And yeah, just what happened was it felt like we just weren't going in the same direction anymore. So at the end of the day, best thing that ever happened to me, honestly. And I hope it's the best thing that ever happened for her too. And when I wrote that list and kind of switched gears into the person I wanted to be, I found my girlfriend a month later in McGillen's, and it was an instant connection.
That's how the universe works, man.
It's true. I think once you focus on that stuff, it's so crazy how it really is all in your hands.
Yeah.
You know, like we have so much control.
Yeah.
We really do. I don't know. Do you ever have like a story like that where like you just like imagine something or like something like that and it just came true?
So I was really bored one day. This was like, I don't know, 6 months. I don't even know how long. Might have been even longer. I had this essay that I wrote out, and it was something in like a economics class or like a social studies, something like class like that. And it was an essay on where do you visualize yourself in like 10 years.
Yeah.
And I had...
That's always fun.
Yeah. And I think I wrote like, I envision myself in business, and I envision myself living where I have a view of Center City and a skyline view and all this stuff. And then I start thinking of my life. I'm like, wow, this wasn't even on my mind. Like this essay, whatever, was forgotten. This was, I graduated high school 8 years ago. But looking back at this, I'm like, this is really becoming my life. Like, and it's just crazy to look back on that stuff, because even though if it's not on top of mind, it's your subconscious mind that is like telling you and leading you on a path with the decisions you make.
Yeah.
And just that kind of stuff fascinates me, man. Because some people are like, yeah, like in high school I wanted to do this and that, but I end up this way.
Yeah.
But then you look back and you realize, well, I think all along there were clues of what I was going to do and what path I want to go down.
Definitely.
And if you go back and look at those clues, it tends to make sense.
And that's why reflection is so important. Some people don't take a second to think about all the things they have and how they got to where they are. And if you don't reflect, you're never going to learn how you did it. And I think writing things down, even if it's in an essay, right? If it's in your journal, great. If it's in an essay, okay. If it's on the back of a napkin, you're pushing it, but it'll happen. It'll somehow work its way through. I totally agree. That's a crazy story.
Yeah.
It just reminded me though of my dad. Like I was moving into his old apartment. So he has a pizza shop. I think I mentioned that earlier. He has a pizza shop, all the properties on the corner or on the block around the corner. And above his pizza shop, there's a 1-bedroom studio where he lived. And I just got out of college, got into real estate. I wasn't living home. So I move into this studio above my dad's pizza shop. It smells like pizza all day. All I'm eating is pizza. That's all I really could afford at the time to get my business off the ground. But I'm going through all of his old stuff, cleaning out the space. And I'm reading his old journals when he was my age. So I'm 26, 25 at the time when this is happening. I guess, 25. And I'm reading his 25-year-old thoughts. And it was trippy. To be honest with you, it was a little trippy because, I want to have 2 beautiful kids, a beautiful wife, live in the suburbs with a big piece of grass. He did everything he said he was going to do. And, it's just amazing to see someone love, obviously you trust your father, give you advice, and then you see it come true for him. You're almost like there's no doubt in your mind after that, and I'm hearing stories like that too. And now you hear it all the time on social media, manifesting. I don't know if that's the right word. It's just like envisioning.
Yeah.
And it's different words for it, but envisioning it, letting your conscious mind and your subconscious mind do the work for you, because it'll do so much that you don't even realize. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing, especially in this business too, with all the stress and with everything. It's like kind of sometimes you lose vision of your personal and long-term goals. So like, do you do anything like in particular that kind of brings that stress level down, or kind of makes it where, like for me, it's like going to the gym and like I'm lifting, I'm able just to like kind of clear my mind.
Yeah.
What's your like go-to thing to clear your mind and bring you back to ground level?
Yeah, it's a mix of things. It's music for sure.
You play instruments or you just listen?
Just listen. I tried to play guitar, took lessons for a year. My freshman year of high school, I sucked at it. But I love music mixed with some kind of like running. Like if you're, I don't know if anyone's ever done this. I hope you have. But like just running during sunrise, whether it's in a playground or whether it's on the beach or whatever, just running during that time when the world's quiet and, That's therapeutic. And then obviously being grateful, because there's so many things, like you said, stress in our lives, things we need to do and get done for our clients, for ourselves. And just thinking of all the things you already have sometimes can lower that stress level for me. Like, man, I have a beautiful, girlfriend. I have a beautiful family. I have such a fun career where I get to meet new people every day. And once you start thinking of all those great things, all the negative disappear. It's like the antidote to anxiety, just gratitude. And so many people would say that, I think, who have really used it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's so true. Like waking up every day and just being grateful for what you have.
It's underrated.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to do.
Yeah.
Even 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be like an hour where you're looking at, your dog and how cool of a TV you have. Like, just like three things that you're like, wow, can't believe I have this in my life and I'm so lucky.
Yeah.
And like it overwhelms you to think about it. Those kind of thoughts will start your day off incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. But some kind of exertion too. You got to move your body.
Yeah.
I think that's another big, that goes hand in hand with it. Breathing and moving your body along with being grateful will make you feel 10 times better.
Have you tried surfing?
No, I actually maybe once, maybe when I was like 10 and I think I got hurt, but no, I never really like gave it an hour. I probably gave it one ride and that was it.
So like think about surfing. I started surfing, like really like got into it. I tried a few times when I was younger. And then I don't know, probably the summer of COVID or summer before COVID, I started like really getting into it. I'll just go down Jersey, go surf. That is one of the only places where my mind cannot even think about anything else. Right. I'm just so present. My anxiety level's so low that when I'm out there, just the sun's down. You're in the water, right? And water, like you absorb the magnesium and that's supposed to bring your anxiety down. Like you're just so in the moment. You feel so good. And you're also getting physical fitness and physical exercise.
Right.
Surfing is like one of the best things you can possibly do for your mental health. It's great.
And you don't realize it, but you're like also low-key fighting for your life. Like one bad thing happens, you're in the water. I don't know if you had anyone with you, if it was just you, but it's scary. Like surfing accidents happen. Like it's one of those things that if you're not fully concentrated on it, the wave can take you versus you taking the wave.
Ken, actually the scariest thing about it is you could be like you ride a wave in or you wipe out, right? Or another surfer, really the biggest risk is another surfer hitting you in the head and you losing consciousness and you drowned. That's like the biggest one.
If you're not paying attention in that environment and completely present, it's detrimental to you. So I think it forces you to do that, which I love. And we could talk about that for a while, I think. Just like.
Yeah, if I like go off of a wave or something and I go under, I like try to like cover my head just in case, because like a lot of people, especially in like the summer when it's really busy, there's so many people riding the same wave.
Yeah.
And you like, when the ride's done, you go and you got to be careful with your head. I've definitely had those situations where waves get pretty decent, like especially go around the storms, like maybe like 8 foot, 6 to 8 feet waves.
Yeah.
And I was like, my back was turned because I went out with my little brother and he got super sick, like motion sickness.
Wow.
From surfing. Yeah, he gets really motion sick.
Right.
And he's throwing up, and I'm like looking, I'm like, oh God, like, and the paddle out was pretty far. Like sometimes you have to paddle out pretty far to get to where the waves are. And I'm looking at him. All of a sudden, a huge wave behind me starts coming. I don't even know it. It was like the wave of the day. They call it like the best wave of the day. And it was really like right behind me. And my head was turned. I'm looking at him like, dude, are you okay? Are you okay? All of a sudden, I'm underwater. And I'm like, and your brain doesn't have time to react to you. So I wasn't expecting to be under. I was like, one moment I was up breathing, next I was underwater. I'm like, all right, I am underwater. I am drowning. But I wasn't actually drowning. Like you're going with the wave. And then when it stops, you just come up, you're like, wow. And I was like, oh, you're good? I'm like, yeah. He's like, man, that was the best wave of the day. I'm like, I know. And like your first moment is like, wow, what just happened? But dang, I really just missed that wave.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, you're telling me. It's like.
Yeah, that was fun. Surfing's great. I'll take you out. We went out. I know we golfed already. Let's go out surfing. Definitely. I'll take you out there.
I'll bring the boogie board just in case I can't get up on my feet. Yeah.
Going back to Philly. All right, so McGillen's obviously. What like besides McGillen's, what would you say are top 3 going out bars? Like in Philly, you're looking to go out. You're looking to have a good time. Someone's like, hey, I'm coming to Philly. I want to go out with my friends. Where would you recommend? Top 3 places.
Wow. Off the top of my head, I like Good Dog. It's a hole in the wall on South 15th Street.
Good Dog.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
That's the beauty of it. It's like a place where if you have friends coming in from out of town, you can actually talk and reconnect with them. Versus like you go to tradesmen's or U-Bahn and you're like in a basement screaming
Yeah.
over a DJ.
Mhm.
So for me, I'm getting old. Back when I was 22, that was
Getting
awesome.
old.
But I'm 26 now. I'm like, let's just drink some whiskey and hang out at
Sure.
Good Dog, play some pool. So I love that spot. If we're gonna stay kind of in that general area, another good spot's Fado, right around the corner.
Okay.
They're an Arsenal bar, so I've gotten into Premier League. It's a fun spot. And then let's go to North Philly, your stomping grounds.
Uh-huh.
What's that spot on Second Street? There's like a nice little spot on Second Street, maybe a brewery.
Urban Village?
Urban Village. I like that spot a lot. If I have people coming from out of town, I want to show them that whole Second Street.
Yeah.
I get them a couple beers, and then we just kind of walk around. And there's so many bars and restaurants on Second Street that we just pop into something great, and we just start there. Yeah, that's probably my 3. What do you got?
Top 3?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's tough. There's too many good ones.
I like kind of the divey vibes. So like, we'll start with North. Johnny Brenda's in Fishtown, like classic spot. You can be anyone you want to be there.
Mhm.
Super kind of unique spot. Pool table, love
Mhm.
going there, running the table a little
Mhm.
bit. It's fun. They have really good food too. So you
Yeah.
can casually get there, and the food's open really late. So like, you need a late night meal. You're hungry. You want to have a few drinks.
That's been there for a while too. Johnny Brenda's is legendary.
Yeah, that place has
Yeah.
been there forever.
Yeah.
I would say number 2 to Johnny Brenna's if we're staying. I like to stay kind of in my Fishtownish bubble. Obviously it's a classic garage.
It's like what we were talking about
Yeah.
earlier. Yeah, it's like the North Philly guys have their spots, the South Philly guys have their spots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even how cliche it is and how big of a garage is like the spot of like, games, especially. Like I watched all the Phillies like playoff games there.
Yeah. It's so
And-
nice with the projector they have and just the open layout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the bartenders, like they're really cool. I
Mhm.
got to know some of them there, going to all the games.
That
I'm like,
helps save a few bucks on the tab, maybe.
yeah, well, not even that. It's just good vibes.
Yeah.
Good vibes all around, especially like the crew there, the workers. I liked
Yeah.
a lot of the bartenders there.
Yeah.
Number 1, man, like if I'm gonna go number 1, that's super tough. There's so many good spots.
There's one that just opened up. It's like this sushi suite spot. It's in the back of this sushi bar already. They just like rented out the back.
Yeah.
And they have this like, I gotta send you their Instagram stuff. It's incredible. It's like fire cooked stuff. Like they don't do anything in the oven, or it's like they blaze it.
Mhm.
Everything. It's all sushi. It's top notch.
Wow.
One piece at a time, 15 different pieces. And you just drink, you talk. It's like a hibachi style. You talk to your chef. You have a table of 8 around its little, kind of half table. It's just a good vibe. I think that might be one of my favorite spots now too. Just being there for one time. I
I
was
must
like,
check it out.
it's amazing. It's really one of the best spots that I've been to sushi wise in my life.
And where's that? It's
on Frankfurt, actually.
on Frankfurt.
I gotta send you the address.
Please do.
Sushi Suite. Shout out Sushi Suite.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll be attending there.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm number 1. Loco Pez, man.
Loco Pez.
Nice local neighborhood spot.
I have not been there.
Great food. Kind of divey. It's more of a food, I guess, but like there's definitely full bar, everything like that.
Yeah. I think we both go for the same divey vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we're not like gonna go out and club for 8 hours,
Mm.
but like Noto, Tradesman's, U-Bahn,
Yeah.
Vesper. Heard of Vesper? It's like on Sydenham, right around the corner from Rittenhouse Square.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, like those are the spots to go clubbing. But if you want to be weirdos and do a dive bar like us, Johnny Brenda's, Good Dog, places you probably
They're good.
never heard
If you're
of.
with like a huge group and you're gonna go to the club, like
Yeah.
that's kind of how I'm feeling. Like you get like a big group and
Yeah.
everyone's kind of like having a good time.
Mhm.
But like if you're just going out with a couple friends, like I'm going out to somewhere I can talk and like hang out.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, Martino. I know the interest rates have gone up.
Yeah.
Like obviously I work in lending. Like you've seen it. Interest rates have gone up.
Mhm.
Inventory and supply seem to be kind of all over the place in Philadelphia, and especially certain areas.
Mm.
Are there still opportunities for people to buy an investment property, to cash flow? Are there still like good investment opportunities in the city of Philadelphia?
Yes, absolutely. If anything, there's more now than there were in the past. Because interest rates were so low, it allowed the big guys to get bigger, to be honest with you. And now I'm seeing, the little guy kind of come out of the woodwork. And he's like, hey, is this have any offers on it yet? Let's throw in something low. And sellers are motivated now because no one is coming around. So I think to answer your question, opportunity is there for people who know their stuff and who can educate other people in a transaction. So if there's a seller who's in 2021 numbers, meaning they think their house is 300 still, or 500 or 600, whatever, let's just say they think it's 500. Prices have come down 5 to 10% across the board. And if you haven't realized that, I'll come to an appointment with all the necessary facts. And if they're still motivated to sell, they know the number now and they're educated and they understand why. Versus, oh, your price is too high, click on to the next. I'm just trying to educate as many people as I can. So even if it's not the right time for them to sell now, when the time does come, they have someone they can trust and they know is going to provide the best resources and value. And then on the buy side, if they do want to sell now and they now understand the value, I have buyers who are, very eager right now because of the less competition to pick something up. And I think you see it too.
Yes.
Getting creative with financing is so simple. Once you open your mind beyond the 20% down, 25% down, and I have it. It's like so many different ways you can structure it. And talking to a guy like Alex, it opens up so many possibilities and so many doors. So there's so many deals out there right now. It's all about, are you willing to take, that chance, take that charge and go against the current, because you're going to hear it. Interest rates are high, I'm going to wait. Interest rates are high, I'm going to wait. What's going to happen when everyone stops waiting is they're all going to flood the market and prices are going to shoot right back up and there's going to be more competition. That's a fact. There's no guess to that. I don't have a crystal ball, but that's what I'm hearing. I make calls every single day. Everyone's waiting for rates to drop.
Yep.
Do not be one of those people who gets caught in that wave when all these people are flooding back into the market. Do your best to try to pick up something now. Refinance when the rates go down, and then you're going to have a much better asset at a much better price, and you're going to have less competition. So go against the current. I mean, if it's right for you, that's my advice. If it's right for you right now, you have the cash on hand, don't wait, because that's what's going to happen.
And people are sleeping on the lower price point homes for cash flow opportunities.
You can't get in lower typically out on price. You can get a lower rate anytime, just refinance.
Yeah.
But you can't get a price, 50,000 less now.
Right.
It's just not heard of unless it's in Philly during this time when rates are 8%.
Right.
People are willing to work. And if they're not, I database them and I know that that's still an opportunity down the line.
Yes.
Which is the most important thing. Build a relationship. It's not about a quick sale. But to answer the general question, it's such a great time and I'm enjoying it right now, honestly. Because back in the old market, it was hectic. This is a great market.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, if you ever need anyone who knows Philly in and out, in the suburbs too, because you've experienced living in the suburbs and in the city, and you're looking just for a great dude to work with all around, give Martino a call. He can help you out with your real estate needs. And if you're looking to connect and network with other realtors and real estate professionals in Philadelphia, give Martino a call. He's a great dude. Always willing to make relationships, connections with other people. So
thank you, Alex. I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me on. Thank you very much.
Anytime.
It's a blast.
You will be back. You will be back.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope the fans don't kick me off. And
no.
I hope they all enjoyed it. Yeah.